Hello, my name is Maggie Welch, and today I'm going to be presenting on worm and non-worm configuration from Chapter 1. When we refer to worm configuration and non-worm configuration or anti-worm configuration, we refer to the movement of prey along its axes when a toad looks at it. So for worm configuration, it's when the prey moves in the direction of its long axis. So in the example, we see how the horizontal bar is moving horizontally, and that elicits an attack response from the toad. For non-worm configuration or anti-worm configuration, it's when the prey moves perpendicular to its long axis. So in the example, we can see how a vertical bar is moving horizontally, and that's eliciting an avoidance response from the toad. When a worm configuration response is elicited from the toad, this starts a stimulus response chain, which is a chain of behaviors in response to a certain stimulus. So for the attack prey for toads, it's orient head and body towards the stimulus, approach stimulus, snap out tongue, eat, and wipe mouth. And a toad will do this stimulus response chain even if it is unsuccessful in capturing the prey when it snaps out its tongue. So what are the pathways involved in the worm configuration and non-worm configuration response? I'm glad you asked. So first we have in the retina R2, R3, and R4 retinal cells. R2 and R3 cells excite T5.1, and R3 and R4 excite Th3. The cells within the optic tectum in the thalamic pretectal area are known as feature detector neurons because they fire strongly when presented to a certain configuration. So for the optic tectum neurons, the T5.1 and T5.2 neurons, they fire strongly when presented with worm configuration. And Th3 neurons in the thalamic pretectal area fire strongly when they are presented with an anti-worm configuration. We can see here that the worm configuration excites the retinotectal pathway. So when a toad sees a worm configuration, R2 and R3 neurons excite T5.1 neurons in the optic tectum, which excites T5.2 neurons in the optic tectum, and that elicits attack behavior. For non-worm configuration, we have the retinopretectotectal pathway. So when a toad sees a non-worm configuration, the retinal ganglion cells R3 and R4 will excite Th3 neurons in the thalamic pretectal area, which will inhibit T5.2 neurons in the optic tectum. So this will stop attack behavior from happening, and then it will elicit avoidance behaviors. So it's important for the Th3 neurons to inhibit the T5.2 neurons because, as you can see in the retina, R3 neurons excite both T5.1 neurons and Th3 neurons.